Today we're talking about how to format your paper in MLA style. This isn't a difficult thing to do, but I've had a lot of students who have had problems with it, so this will hopefully show you what to do. First of all, here's a typical student paper. It might not look bad to you, but to the trained eye, there are lots of mistakes and easy fixes to those mistakes. So the first thing you want to do is to hit Select All, which is Control A. That way you can work with the whole text rather than little pieces of the text. The two things you want to do is remove the extra spaces between the lines and make sure the rest of it is double spaced. So you go into your spacing, line spacing options, just make sure that before and after it's set at 0. Word 2007 has added those extra spaces for some reason. So now you can see it looks more normal. An easy way to fix that is to actually remove, go up to that spacing button and hit remove, just like I'm doing now. So the next thing we want to look at is the margins. Students often try to increase the margins to the 1.25 on the right and left sides to make your paper longer, but we can tell, guess what? So make sure your margins are all set at 1 inch all the way around. You go to the page layout, then you can go back to the home. And you want to make sure that your font is correct. So Times New Roman is pretty standard. Most of your teachers will ask for Times New Roman. And then make sure that you're at 12-point font. Again, this is something students do to make their papers longer, and again, teachers can tell. So make sure you're on the straight and narrow, making sure that you're following all your instructor's directions. Here we see some strange spacing at the header. And in MLA, actually, the format is to have all that information in the header, your name, your instructor's name, the course, and the date. All of that should be on the left-hand side. And you see here that I'm having to delete a lot. That's because when I was creating this, I didn't use the tab button or the align button. Those are the best ways to format your paper rather than using a lot of spaces, because it's just easier to work with rather than trying to figure out if something lines up by using 6 or 7 spaces. Always use the tab or the align button, and the align button is right up there. You want to just do the left justify. And then you're all set to go. Another thing to look at is what I'm correcting here is composition 1. All of these little mistakes, like November being spelled wrong or there needing to be an extra space, all of that contributes to the overall look of your paper. It just looks sloppy if you haven't paid attention to those first 4 lines. And make sure all your paragraphs are indented also. Now we're heading into the title section. So for major work, the title needs to be italicized. There's no underlining in MLA. And the other thing to remember, my original title here was called Parading Through History. Well, that's actually the title of the book I'm reviewing. So you want to make sure that you come up with your own title. And then if you do use the title like I have here, Review of Hoxie's Parading Through History, that needs to be italicized. No quotation marks, no bold, no underline, plain text, just italics for major works. Quotations for minor works like a short story and article. So here I'm correcting all of those other mistakes. I get a lot of different versions of quotations in bold and underline, and just make sure that, that all of the text in your essay is plain text. That's what looks most professional. So here I'm going to show you an easy way to just do all your formatting at the beginning and you don't have to worry about it. So go to Times New Roman, 12-point font, go over to the spacing button, make sure it's at double spaced, and then go ahead and remove that extra space between the paragraphs. All of those, Word 2007, the default mode does not give you the Times New Roman 12-point double spaced font, so you want to make sure to do that before you start. And there you go.